So this is a bit off topic for me. Don't normally post videos like this, but I'm just in for a partial knee operation. And when I was looking at it beforehand, there weren't many videos that actually explained it from a patient's perspective of what it was like, and particularly what the recovery was like. So I thought I'd do one. So literally just waiting to go down for surgery, and then I'm just going to document sort of the next couple of weeks really with some key milestones, so that anybody else who's going through this will have something to refer to and some understanding of what to expect. So anyway, see you in a bit. Right, I'm 10 hours in after coming up from surgery, and I won't lie, it is bloody painful. I'm having liquid morphine, which is taking the edge off it, but it's really sore. The thing I've noticed, it is seriously swollen up. So when I first came out of the anaesthetic, I could actually bend it a reasonable amount. It was sore, but I could bend it a reasonable amount. Now I'm struggling to bend a thing at all. I'm hoping tomorrow the swelling will go down and I can actually start doing some exercises, but at the moment, serious pain. So hopefully this won't last too long. Day 2 now after the operation, and thankfully I'm home. Obviously they try their best in hospital and they're really good and amazing people, but there's nothing like your own home, and I do feel a bit brighter just because I've come back from that. So anyway, day 2, and I've really got to crack on with the exercises now. I think everybody I've met has stressed how important the exercises are post-op. The more you do, the more you push yourself, the better range of movement you'll have when it's all done and dusted. So I've been sent home with this long list of exercises to do, 3 pages of the things. Nothing looks particularly onerous, and I had a bit of a practice with the physio before I left. But this is the sort of the first day I'm going to do them in anger. So I'll just run through, not every one, but some of the main ones that they really stressed are sort of non-negotiable. So let's do some of those. So this is the first one. This is all about contracting your knee, and all they need you to do is sit on a chair, slightly forward so you've got some room, and they suggest putting a plastic bag under your foot so that it slides, so there's less resistance to it, and all you need to do is just bring your knee back as much as you can. You really are meant to push it, and you have to do that 20 times. Now, the intention is that you get it as close to 90 degrees as you can, which I think is around about there. And I have to say, pushing it any more than that starts to get very painful. So 20 of those, and you need to be doing that 3 times a day. Obviously, with the aim is every time you do it, you try and push it or pull your knee back just a little bit more. So that's exercise 1. So this is exercise 2, just to strengthen your calves, and it's literally just up on your toes, again 20 times. Now this one doesn't seem to stress your knee too much. I think this is more about building some muscle tone there. So 20 of those. Next exercise again, if you need to hold on to something, great, but these are just sort of mini knee lunges. So I can feel that one. And again, over time, you're hoping that you can get a little bit lower and stress that knee a little bit more. So 20 of those. Obviously not got too much movement in there, to be honest with you. But just got to keep going. And this one is all about straightening your leg. So again, you sit on your seat and bring the operated leg up as far as you can. And the aim is to try and straighten it as much as you can. Now, that's pretty much as I can do at the moment. You're meant to hold it up for 5 seconds and then drop it down. Oh. And this one is without doubt my least favourite. So for this one you have to be lying down and you pull up your toes, and then you try and push your knee down as far as possible into the sofa or bed or whatever it is you're lying on. Hold it 5 seconds and then release. Contraction. And the last one, when you're laying down, pretty similar to the one in the chair. So again, you pull your toes up and then you lift your leg up, just off there, hold it 5 seconds and drop it down. And again, 10 of those, building up to 20 as soon as you can. Again, it's the extension of the knee that's causing me more pain than the contraction at the moment. But up we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and drop. So those are the main exercises they recommend you do 3 times a day, aiming to get to 20 repetitions for each exercise, starting off at 10. But I think you very much have to be guided by your body. Some are easier than others. So those are the exercises. There's a few extra ones, but those are the main core ones that they recommend. 3 times a day minimum, starting off with at least 10 and trying to get to 20 repetitions. And you just got to push it as hard as you can without doing yourself damage. I think it's very much you've got to be guided by your own body. Clearly you want to be pushing it, but you don't want to be stressing yourself so much that you're causing yourself lots of pain. What I do find after doing them as soon as I came home is that if you do them all in a sequence, at the end of it your knee is quite sore and tender, and it does swell up, and then you just have to make sure that you sit down, elevate your leg, and just allow the swelling to go down, and then obviously in a period of time you can redo them 3 times a day. So there you go. Day 2 exercises. I think it's going to be a long way back, but anyway, it's started. So I'm on day 5 now, and today is the first day that I'm actually starting to feel some of the pain ease off a little bit. I've obviously been dosed up quite heavy on lots of ibuprofen, paracetamol, codeine and liquid morphine, and I'm not particularly happy about that. I'm not a big fan of popping lots of pills, so I've taken the decision that I'm going to duck out of the morphine from now and just rely on the codeine, and I'm currently taking 2 tablets of codeine, but I'm going to try and limit that down to 1 over the next day or 2 every time I take it, just because I don't want to be reliant on painkillers for very long. I've kind of settled into a bit of a routine now, so wake up in the morning, knee is really stiff. Obviously I've not moved it much during the night rather, so it's really stiff, and it takes a bit of time to get moving, and that's quite painful. But then as I just move around a little bit and start to move the knee joint back and forth, it kind of eases off a little bit. Then I have a quick session on the cold compress machine, which I'll show you in a moment, and then I do my exercises once that's happened, and the exercises are coming on, so I'll just quickly show you now. The main one I'm sort of focusing on is getting my contraction of my knee past 90 degrees, and I'm pretty much there now, so I'm quite pleased with that for day 5. Still a long way to go, but I describe it 75% of the time as not really painful, just uncomfortable. It just feels swollen and tight. Obviously if you stress it, it becomes painful, but at the moment I'm relatively pleased with progress, really. So let me just show you my knee contraction. So before I was struggling to get it to 90 degrees, but now that's not too difficult. So if I pull my knee back, I reckon that's about 90 degrees. I can get it back to about there. So that's I'm pleased with that after 5 days since the operation. So pull it back to there. It still is quite painful when you do that movement, but definitely not as painful as it was a couple of days ago. So I feel I'm getting a decent level of movement in there. So pleased with that. So this little machine to the side of me here was my surgeon's top tip for a quick recovery, and it's basically a cold compress machine. What you do, let me just move the camera over, is you put a bit of water in and then you fill the rest of it with ice, and then you put this little lid on, and what it does, there's a collar goes around your knee. You turn it on and it then compresses the joint and also flows really cold water, ice cold water around your joint, which brings down the swelling and really aids recovery. So I found it really superb, a bit fiddly to set up, but not difficult. The only thing I would say is don't rely on making your own ice because it consumes ice. So I tried to do it with the ice machine in the freezer. It doesn't work. You just need too much of the stuff. So you have to bite the bullet and buy some ice from outside. But it really is worth it. So I'll just put the collar on and you can see it working. So I've fitted the collar and you can select between 20 or 40 minutes, and you can also select how much it compresses, so you've got a low, a medium and a high setting, and obviously that depends on how tight you've wrapped the collar around your joint. And then once you've ready to go, you just press start and it will kick in, and instantaneously it tightens around your knee joint, and you can feel the cold water straight away, and it really does help. More so than the drugs, I think this is the one thing that has really helped manage the pain, because unlike some of the drugs like codeine, which takes a bit of time to work, this feels almost instantaneous, having that cold water running around your knee joint. So yeah, really impressed with this. It was a good suggestion by the surgeon, who clearly has done this before. So anyway, I'm just going to sit here now for 20 minutes and let it work its magic, and then get on with my day. So I'm on day 7 now, and a quick update, and it's broadly good news. So first things first, on terms of pain relief, I've completely ditched morphine, did that a few days ago. Codeine, I'm pretty much using 1 tablet. I could have 2, that's the dosage I'm allowed. I'm having 1 tablet in the morning, just because it's a bit stiff and painful when I wake up, and 1 in the evening, which is primarily just to take as much of the discomfort and pain away, so I can get off for a decent night's sleep. So that's pain relief. I've ditched the sticks. I'm moving around relatively freely now. And in terms of pain, realistically now it's just uncomfortable more than particularly painful. Now clearly if I contract my knee to the full extent, or I extend it to a full extent, that's painful, and that happens when I'm doing my exercises. And I have to say I'm really pushing hard with the exercises now, because I genuinely think that's the secret. So in terms of moving about, I'm consciously trying not to limp. I think I read somewhere, or I saw a video somewhere back in the mists of time, that said if you don't limp, you get a much more natural gait when you're walking, and that helps in your recovery. So if I just show you now, just walking about, I'm walking relatively normally, it's just tight around the knee. So there you go. So walking away, I'm consciously bending both my knees as I walk, but it's not painful. It's just uncomfortable, and that's literally just due to the tightness around my knee. So day 7, significant progress, and I'm really positive that actually by the time I get to 8, 9, 10 days, and certainly by 2 weeks, 14 days, I'm going to be in a much better place. So yeah, day 7, looking good. Right, day 9, and sadly I've had a little bit of a setback, though if I'm being really honest, it's self-inflicted. So everything's going quite well, was easing off on the drugs, taking codeine very occasionally, and I think I got a little bit cocky, so we needed some shopping, so I thought I'll tag along, and I just did the up and down the aisle thing, start to get really sore, a little bit painful, and then getting back in the car park afterwards, and I just twisted my knee and got a shooting pain at the front of my knee, really painful. Knee swelled up, came home, took codeine, took the edge off it, but didn't really do much, and had an absolutely shocking night's sleep, just because of the pain of it. I couldn't get comfortable, laying on my back, pillow under my calf, didn't work. So this morning still pretty painful, still pretty swollen, but hopefully 12 hours, 24 hours, it'll be back to where I was, which was quite a good place. So I think the moral of the story is push the exercises, make sure you keep mobile, but don't get cocky and overdo it, as I did. All part of the learning process, and hopefully it's a minor setback that I'll soon get over. So there you go, not a good day. So I'm on day 12, and I've had the dressing removed now. It's healed really well, so the dressing's off now because there's no chance of infection. Yeah, good progress. Now, in terms of the scar, if I stand up, you can see it. It's quite a neat scar. It's healed quite well, and if I just put this down here, I reckon that's around about just under 6 inches, or if you're one of those modern people that understands metric, what we're talking about, 14 centimetres, something like that. So it's a fairly substantial scar. But yeah, so healed up really nicely. Don't have to worry about dressing anymore and can shower. Yeah, good news.
So as well as having my dressing off, I've also moved on to the next stage of exercises. So up to this point, the exercises have very much been about keeping motion in the knee, making sure that I can extend the range of motion, so the way the knee bends and extends. And they've not been too bad. I've been able to get to about 120 degrees on bending my knee back, which is pretty good apparently. So I'm quite pleased with that. However, the new exercises are much more about putting weight through the knee, and I did them yesterday in the physiotherapy room, and they were bloody painful. I'm not gonna lie, but I've lost a bit of muscle tone already in my thigh, so they've given me a schedule of exercises to do, which I'll show you in a moment, which are really about stressing the knee a little bit, and I've got to believe them. They've said you can't break it. Just go through the pain, basically. Keep taking the pain relief. But I'll show you those, and they're not great, but I'm hoping that after doing them for 2 or 3 days, the knee will get a bit stronger, the irritation inside the knee will go, and they'll be a little bit more comfortable. But I'll just show you those now. So most of the exercises involve steps, because obviously they want you to put weight through it. So previously, when I go up steps, you'd always use your stronger leg. So I use my right leg to come up and then let my left leg join it. But what they're asking me to do now is to put all my weight through my left leg. So just stand like this and then push up. And I have to say that is bloody painful right in the front of my knee here. It really hurts. So I don't think it's helped that my steps are particularly tall, but I've just got to keep doing that. And then over time it will strengthen my knee. So they do recognise that it does hurt. So what they've said is try and do 5 and then work up through 6, 7 with the aim of getting to 20. But what this does when you do this is it really does irritate your knee, which means that you then get swelling afterwards, which is not particularly pleasant. The other thing they want you to do, because it strengthens different muscles, is to do it sideways. So you have to excuse me if I turn around. So they want you to step up like this and then back down, and again do 5 of those. But I can already feel it really starting to irritate inside my knee, so I think I'm going to quit there on that one. You just got to build it up slowly. And the other thing they want you to do is to work on your balance. So not holding on to anything, just stand on one leg. And that's obviously making the muscles either side of your leg just keep your balance. And the intention is to hold that balance for 15 seconds. And again, get up to 20-25 seconds over a period of time. And you can really feel it stressing the knee. So these are going to be hard work. So that's the new exercises. I'm out of breath now. It shows you how conditioned I am doing that. Those are the exercises. They really are painful, I've got to tell you. And even after you stop, they're still painful. But that's the first day I'm doing them. I'm hoping that it's going to be the same process as last time. So really painful today, a little less painful tomorrow. And after 5 or 6 days, it becomes easier. The muscles strengthen and some of the swelling inside the knee goes down. I was a little bit cocky about the other exercises because they felt a little bit easy. We've now moved on to putting weight through it, and it's not pleasant. Anyway, in effect, that's day 1 of these exercises, and I'll just document the transition over the next week, and hopefully we'll see some same progress.
Right, it's 5:15 in the morning on day, I think, 15. I had a rough night. Since doing the new exercises, I found that they obviously hurt when you do them because you're putting weight through it. That tends to ease off, feel okay, slight niggling pain with it, but nothing too bad. Go to bed and it gets worse. I don't know why. Maybe it's just laying horizontal, I don't know, but it gets worse. So struggle to get off. And I've got in the habit of having a codeine before I turn in. So I did that last night, but this morning, about 4:15, I woke up. Real pain in my knee, couldn't get comfortable no matter which way I laid. It was painful. Took a couple of codeine at about 4:30. Nothing's touching it really, so at 5:15 I gave up, came downstairs and put the cold compress on. Rubbish night's sleep for the last 3 or 4 nighs, to be honest with you, but tonight was the worst.
I don't know if it's just natural the way it is or whether I'm overdoing the exercises, but the exercises are something you have to do, so I kind of think I've just got to work my way through it. Anyway, hopefully the cold compress machine will bring some relief as it's on now, and I can feel the coldness go around my knee. So it's the morning after the night before, and what a rubbish night that was. And I've done a bit of research, courtesy of the magic of Google, and apparently it's quite common that at night the pain levels increase. Number of reasons. Firstly, that you tend to relax and lay down, and so therefore you're not moving the muscles in your leg or your knee, and as a consequence of that, they can stiffen up a little bit because of obviously their healing and repairing there. So that can happen. I think the second one that I've come across is that your blood flows not as much as it is when you're moving around during the day, and as a consequence, fluid can again build up in your knee, which again tightens everything up. And the last one is that simply at night, as a natural occurrence, your cortisol levels reduce and drop, and cortisol is a hormone that your body produces to inhibit pain, the sensation of pain. So those three things working together means that at night, when you get into bed and you're hoping to relax, the pain levels can go up. So that's the explanation. Sadly, there doesn't seem to be any recommendations for how you can stop that. So I think it's something you just got to go through, and so it looks like there's going to be a few more rubbish sleepless nights, which we'll just have to put up with. When I met with the physio, they used a good analogy, and what she basically said was, inside your knee, if you've had a partial or a full replacement, you've got things that have never been there before. You've got pieces of plastic, you've got pieces of metal, and as a consequence, the soft tissue in your knee is rubbing against things and that it's never had to rub against before. So she used the analogy of us, buy a new pair of shoes, you put them on, it rubs you in places your previous shoes didn't, you get blisters, it becomes painful. And I think apparently that's pretty much a good analogy of what's happening in your knee. The only solution for it is your internal tissue in your body, just to get used to those foreign parts in your knee. No shortcuts. It's all about time, and it's all about how much you move your knee, and over time your body just accepts it and you move on. So that's where we're at, all part of the process. So anyway, there you go. So I'm just out for a walk now, as I've started trying to get out and get some exercise, because one of the challenges obviously is not only to keep the knee moving, but also to just try and increase the strength of the muscles around the knee and in the thigh and the calf. So hence started doing some walking. Doesn't feel particularly painful walking, it just feels really, really tight in my knee. I started off doing 5 minutes walk twice a day. I've got that up to about 8 minutes walk twice a day now. Could do a bit more, but I'm really conscious of not overstressing it and going backwards again. But yeah, it's going okay. Exercise is still really tough. Particularly the ones treading up on the bottom step, because you're just putting all your weight through the damaged knee as you push up, and it really is painful. So I've really wanted to get up to 20 3 times a day, but I'm languishing around about the 10 at the moment. But I know over the next couple of days I'll start pushing that up into the teens and hopefully get to 20. But anyway, it is nice to be out. You feel a little bit cooped up when you're indoors all the time, so it's nice to get out to get some fresh air and a little bit of exercise. And here's the knee scar, so I think that's pretty good. Looks like it's healing up pretty well. So slight ridge just down there, but again, pleased with that. That looks okay. So the other thing at day 17 is I've got a decent range of movement. So if I bring my foot back, I'm well past 90 degrees, and actually if I shift myself forward, that's a reasonable range of movement. So not as good as my right knee, but much better than it was. So I'm just continuing to work on that. So overall, I think that's quite good. In terms of exercise, I'm going out 3 times a day for about 10 minutes each walk now. Bit painful at the end, but that's doable. So I'm going to start stretching that a little bit more over the next coming days. So update, day 17, looking all right. Right, it's day 21, so 3 weeks since the operation, and this is going to be the last video, mainly because I think any improvement, stroke progress from this point forward will be fairly gradual, so there's not huge amounts to document. But before I sign off, I thought I'd just give you my top tips to hopefully help you if you're thinking of doing the same thing and having a knee operation. So here they are, top tips. Top tip number one is take your meds. I'm one of those people that doesn't like taking painkillers and tablets and all those things, but they really do help. The main reason you want to take them obviously is pain relief, but the real benefit of taking them is that it enables you to do your exercises to a much greater extent. You can consistently do them and push harder when you are doing them, and that can only be a good thing. So tip number one, take your meds. Tip number two is related to that, and that is to do those exercises. They're not pleasant, they do hurt, but I think if there's one thing you can do that will drive your recovery, it's doing your exercises consistently 3 times a day and pushing hard to make sure that you make use of those exercises. So that's top tip number two, do your exercises. Tip number 3 is get one of those cold compress machines. They're not expensive, and if I can say one thing that is really helpful, it's those. Not least because you get fairly instant relief if you use them. So you put the collar on your knee, press the button, and instantly you get that compression on your knee and cold water flooding around it, which really does help. So tip 3, get the cold compress machine. Tip number 4 is to listen to your body. So your recovery journey will not be linear. There'll be some days when you're doing amazingly well and you feel like you're making huge progress, and then the next day you'll feel like you've gone backwards, where it hurts more than it did the previous day, you're stiffer, your exercises are harder work, and I think you just have to accept the fact that there will be bumps in the road. Some days are better than others, and just listen to your body. You know, you do want to push your exercises, but not so far that you get a setback. So tip 4, listen to your body. Right, the last tip, and I think the most important one, is stay positive. It is quite a tough journey back. Your knee is the most complicated joint in your body. There's a lot going on there in a very small confined space, and it's a challenging recovery. It's major surgery, and don't forget that. But stay positive. You will make improvements. You will get back to where you need to get to, and all the hard work and all the pain will pay off. So stay positive, and good luck with the recovery. So, and that's really what I want to end. Really, if you are looking to get a knee replacement, partial or full, I hope this has been useful, and I'd just like to wish you all the best. Good luck with it, you'll be fine. Okay, anyway, thanks for watching, bye for now.